Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I've received some questions about ref rows as a function in AppSheet, and this video is going to attempt to kind of address ref rows as a function. So to get started, I want to say ref rows is basically a very blunt function. There's not a lot of precision behind it, and basically what it allows you to do is from a parent table. So if you have a parent-child relationship, so if you create a ref column, let's say, from a child table to the parent table, this allows you to basically create inline views fairly easily from that perspective. So this allows you from the parent table to essentially identify what table you want to retrieve a list of IDs from, and then target the column in the child table that you want to retrieve those values from. So I have the help documentation up, and I'll make sure I include a link to the the help article below. But this details basically how this works, right? So you're identifying, there's two parts to the function. The first one is you're identifying the table name that you're targeting from, whatever table you're starting from, right? So it's just the table name. And the second one is the column in that target table that will match the key that you're currently writing the function from. So if, let's keep this simple here from, if we have a project and tasks type table here. So if I create a ref rows column in a project table and I have a list of tasks in another table that I want to target, my ref rows formula will be tasks, right? I've identified the table there I want to target, and then I want to target the project ID column in that task table, which identifies the project that task is related to. And then what is returned from this function in AppSheet is a list of IDs from that target table that will, can be used for inline views. And in general, ref rows is great for that relationship, but it's there's not a lot of precision in it, right? You don't have a lot of flexibility. That's why in the help documentation here, you also have some similar functions here, such as the equivalent function for filter or the equivalent function for the select statement, which select in general offers you the most precision when trying to target specific data in AppSheet. And I made a whole video about how select is probably the most useful function in AppSheet. So please check out that link, and that will give you greater flexibility when designing these functions in AppSheet. So let's switch tabs here from the documentation to the app itself. So typically when you create, you'll see ref rows a lot in AppSheet, primarily for this reason. In the app editor itself, when you create a reference column, so let's say here, I have a task table, as I mentioned before, where I have a column here that is associating the tasks with some project ID, right? So for every task that I have in this table, these tasks have a project ID that's associated with it. And I've created a reference here. And when I create a reference in AppSheet, I'm targeting a specific table. I'm basically saying that, hey, this column here contains the ID values or the key values to this table that I want to reference. And when I create that in AppSheet, AppSheet's going to, in that parent table, create ref rows, that formula, automatically based off that, that's being set up. Okay. So that's why you'll see this. But that's really the only way you would ever use this formula in AppSheet is for that parent-child relationship. Anything else, RefRose is not going to be very useful for your use case. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is great because it's very easy to set up, but I will, encourage you to look at the select function to understand how that works, because really that's all that is being employed here with RefRose. Is there's a select function in the background that is doing the work. So with RefRose filters, the filter function, and a couple other functions, they're all using select in the background, so you don't gain any performance improvement in your application by using RefRose at all. This is just a more simple function for you to use, but like I said, you're typically not going to use this outside of a parent-child relationship. So with that, hopefully that helps, and please check out that video on the select function. The more you can understand how select works, the less you'll actually find a need to use RefRose in the future as well. So as always, please leave a comment in the comment section below if you have a question. And please like or subscribe to this video as it helps the channel out. And have a good one.